Hello YouTube. So here I am, 1 month later. I am 1 month into owning my 2017 Nissan LEAF, 100% all electric car, and I don't know what to tell you. I'm loving it. This is a dream come true. And I thought I'd put together this video because I've been getting asked a lot of questions about the car. You know, what made me purchase an electric car? Why the Nissan LEAF over the Chevy Bolt? Why not a Tesla? So I thought I'd put together this video for you. It'll be a little different than my other videos, but I hope you enjoy, and I can answer some questions that all of you might have. So I've always been an electric car fan. In fact, in the late 90s, I was part of the electric car club at high school, where we built and molded this electric car right here from an old canoe. I remember how cool it was being able to drive this car around the high school parking lot at around 20 miles an hour. I remember daydreaming about purchasing the car and using it as my primary vehicle. But, you know, reality quickly set in, and I got my first beat-up car to get back and forth to work. Then there was the dream of converting a car into an all-electric vehicle, and I used to daydream about buying a cheap used Honda Civic someday to convert into an EV. I actually did end up buying this Honda Civic with that in mind, but at the time, my part-time job at Burger King would never fund such a project. So fast forward to present day. There have been many changes in technology since the late 90s, early 2000s, from lithium-ion batteries to LED lighting. But it wasn't until Tesla announced their Model 3 back in March of 2016 that I had this renewed interest in EVs once again. Up until then, I hadn't really kept up with the changes, as I really wasn't in the market for an EV, or even a hybrid for that matter. I obviously knew that they existed, but I hadn't done the research. All that I knew, or what I assumed, was that an EV, or even a hybrid, would set me back something like $30,000 or more, and that just wasn't going to happen anytime soon. But again, I have to credit Tesla for giving me that spark that I needed when I stumbled across the announcement of the Model 3. That got me daydreaming again, and if nothing else, it got me to look into the possibility of owning an EV. So long story short, the Tesla Model 3 led me to the Chevy Bolt, and the Bolt EV led me to the Nissan LEAF. But why did I choose the LEAF over the Bolt? Why didn't I put down a $1,000 deposit and reserve a Model 3? As you may have seen in a prior video, I had test-driven the Bolt EV, and I do think it's a solid vehicle. I'm impressed. This vehicle is it's solid. I love the regenerative braking. Way to go, Chevy. I would have had no problem going home with the Bolt, but at the end of the day, money talks, and every dealer I had spoken to either wouldn't come down on their price or they weren't passing on any of the savings to the customer. I'll try not to get too far off in a tangent here, but as I stated before, $30,000 or more is a deal breaker for me. I can see myself spending $25K, maybe even $30K on a new car, but if I spend $30K, it better have every bell and whistle imaginable. And that's what turned me away from the Bolt. Every dealer that I went to was trying to sell me what should have been a $30,000 car for $40,000. And I know that there's a federal tax credit available to the tune of $7,500, so that $40,000 car should have been at least $32,500. And where I was wanting to lease the vehicle from the dealer is supposed to be passing those savings on to you, and they weren't. So what was supposed to be an affordable car was still way out of reach for me. And then I turned to Nissan. I had to regroup as most of my research had been on the Bolt EV. I didn't even realize that the LEAF now was in the 100-mile plus range. The last I knew, the LEAF could only do something like 84 miles on a charge. But even that wasn't the one thing that was holding me back all these years. It was the fact that even the LEAF had a sticker price of $33K in the window. At least the one I was looking at. But here's where it gets good, and this is where Nissan won me over. Nissan right now has huge incentives on the 2017 LEAF, probably because the 2018s are right around the corner. But regardless, if you go in and you ask, you can find out that you can get anywhere from $7,500, which is the federal tax credit, plus an additional $5,000 or more. And that's pretty much what I did. I was able to get $12,500 right off the sticker of this vehicle. Add to that, I had some equity in the car that I traded in. I pretty much walked out the door paying $18,000 for this vehicle, brand new. So in the long run, what happened for me was I was able to purchase an electric car. I ended up paying half than what the Chevy dealers wanted for their Bolt EV. And I got a car payment now that is $50 less than what I was paying for on my previous vehicle. And I'm now a proud owner of an electric car that right now I'm getting above the 107 EPA range because I primarily just drive in the city. It's the best thing for me, and it's probably the best car buying decision I've ever made. I am 100% satisfied with this Nissan LEAF. It is amazing.